Pleasant good evening and welcome to Bedtime Stories, the show designed with the lovers in mind, where we put you to bed but never to sleep with the greatest love songs of all time. Right here on WOSD Radio DB Chicago, your home for old school and dusties, WDLB Indianapolis and Chicago, BiggsRadio.com, and WDLB and I'm sorry, WRLNradio.com, a Ray Neal media station. Now we got that out of the way. My name is Dr. Al Greer. What's yours? Okay. Coming up in our last hour, we do a little thing we call foreplay. 4 songs by one of your favorite artists or groups, male or female. Tonight's artists, you're going to love them. I always say that, right? Trust me, I'm a doctor. That's in our last hour here on Bedtime Stories. I'm not going to talk too long tonight, except, to the Facebook, Twitch, and YouTube audience. Yeah, I'm going to talk to them tonight. Here's Lou Rawls in Early Morning Love. It's the best. Because you know how the fellas are in the morning, right, ladies? Good enough. Yeah, buddy. Oh, nobody's here yet. Oh, well. Let me go get my food. Because I'm a foodie. Not warm enough yet. Our day is gone, 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 gone. Uh, Morning love. I think my food is ready now. Let me go check. Ooh wee. This is gonna be good. Mmm. That's good. Hey Phyllis. How was your day, Phyllis? Mine went quickly, like it's supposed to, quickly, and be over with. Mm. I know you all are always saying that he's always eating. Yes, I am. Some people eat to live. I live to eat. Well, both, you know. But anyway, once again, hello to Phyllis Bender, Phyllis Malloy Bender. Can't forget that. So is it Mrs. Bender or is it Ms. Bender? What am I eating? I'm eating, they're actually ramen noodles, but with a kick to it. It's real chicken in it, vegetables and everything else. So it's like ramen noodles, but it's got like a different broth. It's not the same, it's not in the package type. Somebody actually cooked the noodles separately and then put the noodles in with the broth and, kind of dressed it up. They used the noodles, but not the little packet of salt, as I call them. So the result is, and big chunks of white meat chicken, all thanks to, um, oh, it's Mrs. Okay. All thanks to Darlene Hill, my coworker, and of course my boss Titus Williams, who forgot and left it at work. So she was like, "I guess he didn't want it." So Al, you're welcome to it. I said, "No problem." So I mean, it's it's enough in here. I don't think I'm going to eat all of it because it's so good. I'm going to probably take some to work tomorrow. Mm. It's got the right amount of spice in it, but it is good. And I also have a Subway sandwich. So I have soup and sandwich. Mm. And it is good, Phyllis. It really is. You know, most cute women can't cook. I don't know where that came from, but I heard that once. Most cute women can't cook, with the exception of a few people that I know who are cute and can cook. Mm. I'm not going to eat all of this. This is too good. I got to save some for tomorrow. Probably put some more noodles in there. Mm. Mm. Tuna for me too. Tuna from Subway. Mm. That is good. Oh yeah, that's too good. Nah, I can't do it. Chomp on the sandwich instead. You ever had something that's just too good to eat? You know, like a cake or something. You're like, ooh, the cake is so pretty. I don't want to cut it because it looks so good. So yeah, that's the way it is. I'm like, ooh, what's that on the back of my neck? I don't know. Need to look at that. Need a dermatologist or something. Prince Rogers Nelson, Scandalous from the Batman soundtrack. Peanut Butter Brother Dr. Al Greer. Hello to Phyllis Malloy Bender. I said, is it Miss or Mrs.? She said, Mrs. Proudly, too. I'm not mad at you. Not at all. Proudly. That's a good thing. You should be proud to be married. You know, that's what I always say. You know, I remember the first time I got married, my first wife. I went around to everybody, a couple of security guards who worked at Kennedy King, and I asked them, I said, can you give me any advice about being married? I said, I've never been married before. You know, I had just turned 50 and I'm asking around. I'm like, okay. And some of them gave me some really good advice. They said, you know, even when your wife is wrong, she's still right. I said, okay. um, some of them said, you know, keep two phones. I said, keep two phones. Why? So one for your wife and then one for your mistress. I said, oh, okay. But of course, leave the wife phone laying around so your wife can pick it up and say, oh, he doesn't have any calls on this phone. Of course, you turn off the concubine phone or the side piece phone at night when you get home, right? So I got a lot of good advice and I got a lot of really bad advice. But there's no way to, gauge what's going to happen until you are actually married. So I learned, trust me, I learned. Jim Toomey, Juicy Fruits on Bedtime Stories. Ken Wadlington, what's going on, sir? To give me good and plenty. Maverick, what's going on, sir? Yeah, you never know until you're actually married. You know, I mean, you can ask advice all day long from people who have been married for a long time, and they still can't tell you. Ooh, let me turn this fan on. Having hot flashes over here. So, yeah, you never know until you're actually in it. But in my first marriage, I got married in August. In November, we had broken up. Why, you say? I don't know. I'm still not sure. But I will say this, and I will give this advice to anyone who's young and who's thinking about getting married. There is no book that you can read that will prepare you for marriage. There is no counseling. However many hours of counseling you go through with your pastor or marriage counselors, there is absolutely no way to know until you've actually gotten into the marriage how it's going to go. Some people luck up and they marry their best friend and they stay married forever. Others are not as fortunate. They don't luck up. And, they go through a rough patch. They call it the 7-year itch. My thing is you shouldn't go through a 7-year itch. If you all are equally yoked, then it's going to work. If your wife doesn't have high expectations out of you, and the same for you, you don't have high expectations out of her, and just trust each other or trust in each other and trust in the Lord, and everything else will be okay. It might sound simple, but it isn't. Once again, you have to be equally yoked. Some people get into marriage for different reasons. Not saying those reasons are bad, but if you marry for money, it's not going to work. It's just not going to work. It never does. If you get into a marriage because he has a lot of money. Now, you all have seen some of the Tyler Perry movies. You've seen, what was it? Good Times. Remember Good Times? Thelma got married to this guy. He was supposed to get on the Chicago Bears team, and he hurt himself. Same way in that movie with Common and Queen Latifah. He was a popular basketball player dating Queen Latifah's sister in the movie. He hurt himself on the basketball court, and she dropped him like he had the plague. It happens. It certainly happens. And that's it. She didn't want to be with him no more because he wasn't, he wasn't balling. You know, Al Greer's itches last a few months each time until prescription gets filled. Thank you. Uh, Phyllis said, I remember I'm a daddy's girl, so he got married on July 11th. I got married July 1st, 30 years later. For me, coming up on 30 years this year with him for 36 years. And once again, you get lucky sometimes. My parents were together. Some 58 years. They dated before they got married. And, like it says, till death do you part. When my daddy died, she never remarried. That was it. She took care of him. She, as she said, she upheld her end of the bargain, and that was it. So that was it. So I thought that when I got married, it would be the same thing. We'd be married forever. We live in a society of what I call the microwave era, where everything is fast. You have microwaves, you have air fryers. Some women don't cook in ovens anymore. It just takes too long. Everything is quick, everything is fast, everything is now. My mother told me when I got married the first time to the first wife, she says, if it don't work out, you can get it annulled. Like, Mom, I'm not even into it yet. But I think Mom knew something. I think she knew something. Therefore, she made that statement. I was like, and I made excuses for this woman. I would say, well, she she don't feel well or something like that. I would make excuses for her. And the more excuses I made, it was like, I was you've heard of battered wives. I was a battered husband. And I kept making excuses. Well, she's not feeling well. Oh, she's going through something. I should have taken my mother's advice and gotten it annulled, but I was like determined that I was going to make it work. And how many people know that you can't make it work all by yourself? So, I tried all by myself, and it didn't work. So, rolling, then love don't ever stop. Bobby Brown, rock with ya, or rock with ya, right here on Bedtime Stories. Yeah, I'm learning how to read tonight, Troy, even though I've been a teacher for umpteen years. But thank you. I appreciate that. It's your peanut butter brother, Dr. Al Greer. This is Bedtime Stories, the show designed with the lovers in mind, where we put you to bed but never to sleep with the greatest love songs of all time. Hello to Ken Watlington, and once again to Phyllis Malloy Bender. Thank you so much for being on my Facebook Live, Twitch, whatever, Twitch, and YouTube all at once. Thank you so much, guys. I appreciate you. Talking about relationships tonight. Well, that's the first subject. Normally we talk about different things. On Monday, we talked about the inauguration and, all sorts of good stuff. Now I'm explaining about what happened with my first marriage. I wish I could tell you what happened. I still don't know. It's like like you're driving down the street and, your favorite song is on the radio and you're driving, you got the top down or you have the sunroof open, you got your shades on. It's a nice summer day and all of a sudden somebody sideswipes you. Yeah, that was my first my first marriage. I got sideswiped. I'm like, what just happened? Like the song says, here I am laying in the hospital, bandaged from feet to head, in a state of shock. That much from almost being dead. I should play that song later too. It's Blank Ivory, you and I on Bedtime Stories. Oh, Lord. Let me put some ice in this iced tea. It is tangy. Woo, Lord. I'm back. For those of you who are watching on Facebook, make sure you, where it says like, comment, and share, just hit share so that everybody else can see how funny looking I really am. Mm-mm. Mm-mm. Got 4 on Facebook and 1 on Twitch. I'm doing good. I didn't have any on Twitch. trying to build up my Twitch. You know, oh, my fan kicked in. All right, woohoo! So, Phyllis, you've been married for a while. Do you have any advice for anyone here who might be interested in getting married, like Troy? You know, I'm sure one day he's going to settle down with a nice young man, and you know, two of them are going to bump uglies or something like that. You know, have nothing against that, but okay. Yeah. TikTok has been banned in the first state today. And what state is that? Pray tell. Obviously not in South Korea because my daughter's still doing TikTok videos. You know, I was just watching one right before I took my nap. You know, not saying that my daughter put me to sleep, but you know, she sounds like me, but a couple of octaves higher. So it's like, it's like listening to myself, but you know, sped up. Like, I'm 33, she's like 45 or something like that, I'm like, ooh, poor child. I just mm, you know, all my children sound like me. Isn't that scary? Scary. One day at a time, and one day at a time, the good with the bad, communication. Okay, that's it. And I hear so many times that, people say, I married my best friend. So do you feel like you married your best friend? Now, women have best friends, they have their BFFs, and guys, have their, ride or die buddies from high school or from college or whatever, they pledge together, this, that, and the other. So, but like the show that I helped produce, a team of Buchanan, his buddy, his ride or die, his ace boom coon is David Seaton. They were in college together and everything else. I guess they must have pledged and everything else. So, you know, I unfortunately I don't have a friend like that I see all the time. It's like, hey, my man, it's like, you know, one of us needs money, and so we like, hey, here you go, don't worry about paying me back, that kind of thing, But unfortunately, I don't have a BFF. I just don't. I wish I did. You know, somebody that I went to college with, that we pledged together and all that stuff. You know, I said, well, I thought something a few weeks ago, and this is the first time I'm saying it out loud. And I don't know, I may have said it before. I don't know. I don't want to die not knowing what real love feels like. You know, I thought a couple of times when I was, you know, when I was younger, I thought I was in love. I'm like, oh, mom, I love her. I just, I worship the ground that she walks on. She makes me laugh. She makes me cry. She makes, we finish each other's sentences. And that girl, I was what? I want to say I was like 14, 15 years old, something like that. And her name was Alana. Oh, I was crazy about it. She was so pretty to me. She wasn't even thinking about me. She was not thinking about me. I just love the strings on that song. Of all the guys in the world, Barry White, Love Unlimited, and the Love Unlimited Orchestra right here on Bedtime Stories. So all the guys in the world, you give your love to me. It's your peanut butter brother, Dr. Al Greer, and this is Bedtime Stories. The show designed with the lovers in mind, where we put you to bed, but never to sleep with the greatest love songs of all time. I don't think I've ever said this out loud. I think I may have said it maybe a few weeks ago, but I don't want to leave this earth without knowing what real love is all about. When I was younger, I thought, oh my God, I was in love. You know, I was just in lust because I hadn't had, you know, I'll just put it out there like this. I hadn't had sex yet. So, this was long before I turned 18. And it was a young lady named Alana that I was just crazy about. And I remember her coming over the house one day, and my mother yelled downstairs to me. I was in the basement, doing my thing. And she said, Alana is here. I said, oh, really? Send her down, mother. Thank you. you know, Alana stayed all of about 15 minutes. Why? I didn't know what to do. I was still a nerd, so I had no idea what I was supposed to be doing with Alana. Was I supposed to touch her? Was I supposed to kiss her? Was I supposed to hug her? What was I supposed to do? Feel her up. So, I remained a gentleman. And we sat there and talked for about 15 minutes. She said, oh, well, I need to be going right now. And I wouldn't see Alana for another 20, 30 years after that. By that time, I knew what to do. Now, that time it was too late. But anyway, that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. Anyway, here's the first of two in a row from Angela Bofield. I'm on your side. It's Bedtime Stories. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yep. And where is she now? I have no idea. But that would have been cool. That would have looked nice on some towels. Alonzo and Alana, which my mother said she almost named me. Alana. Mm-hmm. Hmm. Perry Williams said today, She had a girl that would be perfect for me. Like, really? Hmm. Okay. I was like, okay, enlighten me, please. I'm all ears. I always said that I would never get married again. That was the first time. I said, one and done. Well, I looked at the first marriage as being practice. I said, okay, I got the practice out the way. You know, I said, now I'm ready to be a real husband. I don't think I practiced enough or knew enough. So, sometimes that's what happens. You go into it blindly. I had no experience of being a husband. My second wife had some experience in being a wife, but with the wrong guy. He wasn't ready to be a husband, you know. And I think she just married him because he was good looking. I ain't gonna lie, I saw him, I'm like, oh well, you know, I understand. But he wasn't quite ready to be a husband yet. I don't know if he had been a husband once before or not, but he wasn't ready. Or he just wasn't ready for Kimberly. You know, I heard a whole bunch of horror stories that I will not repeat about him, but it all goes to show you that he was not ready to be a husband. You know, sometimes you have to let a woman be a woman. Like like in the song, "Get Off" by Prince. Let a woman be a woman. Let a man be a man. Yeah, and sometimes that's what you have to do. You have to step back and let that person be who they are, and you never know who that person is until you've actually said "I do" to that person. You know. Once again, I've heard a whole bunch of horror stories about people, you know, getting in relationships. They date for like 2 or 3 years, and then they finally get married, and then that person turns on them. No, the thing is, and I was told this, sometimes they send a representative of whom they want you to know, and that's not really them. I experienced that. They sent their representative. They got me hooked. I was like, oh, she's so sweet. Oh my God, I have lucked up. I've hit the jackpot, the lottery. I won the big one. Only for them to say that I thought you were somebody else. Well, I thought the same thing. Here I'm thinking we're getting along just fine. And then came the accusations. And then the confrontations. And I'm like, I'm not a confrontational person. I'm probably the most easygoing, laid back person that you'll ever meet. You know, I'd have to be to put up with Troy and his, constant badgering and everything else, Otherwise, I'd be cussing up a storm like a sailor. But my mother always said sometimes you have to let things roll off your back like it would a duck's back. You know, some battles you can fight, and some battles you just have to concede and say, okay, you win, just for the sake of peace. Oh boy, she didn't like that when I said, honey, we shouldn't be fighting. Preston Shanks, Latanya. Would you say, Phyllis? Yeah, you're absolutely right. Hey, Latanya. Preston Shanks. You think, okay, if I just agree with that person, then the conversation will be over with. What I got was, no, this conversation is not over with. Stop talking to me like I'm a 4-year-old. I'm like, but I don't want to argue. I want to make love to you. I don't want to argue with you. That wasn't good enough. I said, you're too pretty to be fighting. That didn't work either. Stop talking to me like I'm an idiot. Okay. Okay, you're ugly and you need to be fighting? Now you're just being an idiot. Like, okay. So there was no way that I could win an argument. I just had to keep arguing with her. I got to a point where I'm like, okay, I'm going to bed now. If you want to continue arguing, maybe we'll pick it up tomorrow, when we're both off work, and then, you know, we can pick up the argument later. No, we're not going to bed until we finish this. Oh, okay. Lionel Richie makes Joe Tex look like R.B. Greaves. We're going to talk about Lionel later on. But anyway, so the fight continued, and nobody got any sleep. What'd you say, Preston? Just be quiet. That didn't work either. It didn't work. She was like, okay, what's with the silence? Do you hear me talking to you? What's with the silence? Oh, it was bad. It was awful. It was it was nothing like I'd ever experienced before in my life. I didn't hear my parents argue like that. Two in a row from Angela Bofield, and I tried. Right now, bedtime stories. That was the theme song of my first marriage. I tried. I tried to do the best I can for you. It seems that my best just wasn't good enough. I tell you, it just wasn't. Preston says sometimes you just have to be quiet. That didn't work either, Preston. Then it was like, you're ignoring me. I'm like, no, I'm just being silent because I don't think this argument should go on past a certain time. But what did I know? I wasn't, maybe I wasn't marriage material the first time, but I am now. I just feel like it's too late for me to even start another marriage. It's either salvage the one you have or just not be married at all. And some fellas, feel that way. They feel like, I've done all that I can. I've been married, once or twice. In some cases, some marriages or some men have been married like two or three times, and they're like, nah, I'm through with this. I'm just gonna be single. Sometimes that doesn't work either, right? Here's Atlantic Star. Let's get closer on Bedtime Stories. You're absolutely right, Preston. We weren't equally yoked, you know. And I thought, I really thought that we were equally yoked, you know. But once again, you never know until you're married to someone. Once you get together, once you all are married, then it's like, oh, okay, now I understand. Now I get it. You know. But yeah, you're right. We weren't equally yoked. So therefore, it didn't work out. It didn't work out at all. You know. But who knows? And then the second one, I thought we were equally yoked. You know, I took the attitude of, you know, yes, dear, no, dear, you're right, dear. That makes sense, dear. Whether it made sense or not, you know, I was quite confused. But, you know, once again, you don't know until you're in it. You know, they say the water's hot. No, the water's cold. You don't know until you put your foot in it. If the water's too hot or the water's too cold, and that's it. So that's how it works. Yeah. That's where that communication comes in. You're absolutely right. That's exactly right. That's where communication comes in. But some women don't want to talk. You know, they just don't want to talk. And the thing is, they've never learned how to communicate with a man. You know, me, I'm quite verbal because I'm in communication. So you know, when I was younger, I used to write poetry. So I wrote whatever my heart felt. I wrote what I felt, to a woman, and they look at it like, yeah, whatever. I was like, that's my heart you're crumbling up. It took me a while to write that, to put my feelings on paper, and some men and some women cannot do that. You know, they can't open up because they've never learned how to open up to another person. They just haven't, you know, or they've opened up to someone a long time ago and it didn't quite work out the way that they thought it would work out. And that's what happens. It's like, well, dang, I thought this is the way it's supposed to be. And that's just it. a lot of times that's not the way it's supposed to be. You know, it's just difficult. To say what you feel. Good evening, Miss Hill. Preston Shank said she was the silent type. Oh, my first wife was not the silent type. Trust me. She wanted to argue. She wanted to get it off of her chest. And that was it. We will not go to sleep until I have made my point. Okay. So I had to wait until she made her point, no matter how long it took. And sometimes it would take all night for her to make her point, you know, until she, fought sleep like a little child, I'm sorry, kids are goats. And she would just, finally just keel over and like, oh, I guess this argument's over with. You win, or I win by a knockout because she's knocked out. Most men don't talk. She was like, Al, shut up. I know, right? But I'm one of those people that loves love. I love being in love. You know, it, when I'm out of love, I feel like I'm missing something. I'll watch movies and see people that are in love and looking at each other and, that whole thing and holding hands and stuff. I said, that's what I should be doing right now. I should be in love, holding hands and, that whole thing. You know, I have, you know, tried several times, but, when I was younger, I, back then, I wasn't ready for marriage. I wanted a relationship, but I wasn't ready to be in a committed relationship via marriage. And my father used to always say, you're not in a relationship until you're married. I'm like, well, isn't like boyfriend and girlfriend a relationship? No, y'all just smashing, like the kids say. Y'all just smashing. I'm like, oh, okay. Miss Hill says, I'm one of those who did open up one time with someone whom I thought I was comfortable with. Afterwards, that was it. I keep it all inside, write it on a journal. Not ashamed to say so anymore. I stopped communicating those feelings anymore. Phyllis said you don't have to be married to be in love. And of course, Preston says AG is a romantic. And yes, I am. I most certainly am a romantic. I am definitely a romantic. Gerald and Eddie Levert. And baby, hold on to me. See, I'm a special kind. Man that is hard to find. I told you 1,000 times, baby. You better hold on to me. Because I am a romantic. It's your peanut butter brother, Dr. Al Greer. This is Bedtime Stories, and we're sponsored by our good friends over at Grubhub. Mm-mm-mm-mm. Asking her to take the box of knives downstairs right after you accidentally spilled Crisco on them. Grubhub, a proud sponsor of Bedtime Stories on WOSD Radio DB Chicago, WDLB Indianapolis in Chicago, and WRLN Radio.com, radio media station. It's your peanut butter brother, Dr. Al Greer, hopeless romantic. Yes, I am. I remember a few years ago being in love with this young lady. I was working at Ameritech, which became Verizon. And she walked into my store, and I saw those big brown eyes of hers and that big grin, those long fingers and nails and those pretty feet. And I said, "You're going to be my wife." What did she do? She laughed at me. She said, "Very funny little man. Now sell me a phone." I didn't come in here for a relationship. She broke my heart, I tell you. Here's Teddy and Whitney on Bedtime Stories. You have a humongous bone to pick with Grubhub. Okay. I'm sorry to hear that. I hope, hope that works out with you and Grubhub. Why don't you just cook like you asked me earlier? I'm like, Mr. Greer doesn't cook. I just don't. I had a bad experience doing that whole cooking thing. There was this young lady that I was very smitten with. I'm not going to say her name, but she was just gorgeous. She looked like, remember Who Framed Roger Rabbit? Well, she looked like a black Jessica Rabbit. You know, she had the hair over one eye. Her hair was long. She was tall. She was pretty. She was just sex personified. And I was like, I'm going to try with this young lady. She was just drop dead gorgeous. And I remember her and I were supposed to get together, right? So I cooked that night. Yes, Miss Hill, I cooked. I made a big old pot of spaghetti with ground turkey. I used 2 types of sauces. I even chopped up some tomatoes and put the tomatoes in the spaghetti. I had some garlic bread. I had the garlic bread. I had spaghetti. It was going to be a great night. Had the waterbed all warmed up and everything. And she stood me up. I kept calling and calling. I'm like, and I sat there at the table and looked at the pot of spaghetti and the garlic bread and the bottle of wine. And I said, her name was No Tits McGee. I know, right? And she never showed up. So, Ms. Hill, to answer your question from earlier, I never cooked again. I had a phobia about cooking. The only time that I would really cook was putting something in a crock pot. That was it. I would get some chicken wings or some chicken legs or whatever, and I'd put them in a crock pot. And I would go to work and I'd come back, throw some noodles in there, and I would have a meal. That was the only cooking that I did. And that was for myself, and that was it. I never cooked for another woman ever again. I was a hamburger helper gourmet. In fact, a few years ago, I took a picture with a box of hamburger helper in my hand, and that was it. So I've had extremely and frustrating day. Plus, I've been in tears all day. Plus, I'm starting to get to the point where I'm starting to cook only once a week now that I'm a full-time student with a full career. I understand. So once again, I never cooked again. On top of that, her, and I can't, I want to say her name, but her nickname rhymes with Dandy. So I tried to find every song that was named after her. You know, I had Cameo, I had Big Maybell, I had, um, uh, New Edition. I mean, I put all of this on a CD. I had all these songs that rhymed with Dandy. Yep. I could have broke it in half and cut her throat with it. Needless to say, I never saw her again. My day was even worse. I woke up before 10 a.m., which is 3 hours earlier than usual. Then I had to shower around 1 p.m., watch TV. I've had it. Oh, yeah, that's a rough time there, I tell you. Yeah, that's rough. Oh, Mandy. Okay. Okay. Is that a request for some Barry Manilow or what? No, no, her name wasn't Mandy. It was the other one. Yeah. But thank you. Oh, Mandy. No. But I pushed you away, oh, Mandy. But yep, I never cooked again. And then recently I made a CD for someone. This is after so many years of, I said, okay, I'm going to make a CD because this music, I was inspired by this person. And I said, I'm going to make a CD for this person. And they told me, one night, I got this, I've been thinking about you all day. I said, oh, really? There's this girl I want to introduce you to. My face just dropped. My face was broken. It was on the floor. I was like, really? Brandy. No, not Brandy either. I don't need to cry any more than I have today. I understand. All day I've been, you know, I saw the funeral of the slain officer today, live from Trinity, and at one, I mean, the funeral lasted for like a couple of hours, and at one point I was like, I can't watch this anymore. I'm already on the verge of tears. One of my coworkers said, "Al, you want me to get you some tissue?" I said, "No, I'm gonna just use my shirt and just blow my nose on my collar or my sleeve rather." And that was it. I was like, I can't watch this anymore. I'm already, at that point where, you know, you know. Preston said he ain't cried all day. The Reverend Al Green, Simply Beautiful, the version he did on VH1. He couldn't remember where he was. He said, here we are at 101. I guess that's what time it was at the time. I don't know. He couldn't think of VH1 until the end of the song. But Simply Beautiful, the live version from Al Green, the Reverend Al Green, right here on Bedtime Stories. With the peanut butter brother, Dr. Al Greer. Miss Hill said, I don't need to cry any more than I've cried today. Preston said, I haven't cried all day. Lawana says, hey there, fantastic peeps. Hello. Hello, Lawanda. She's always happy. You know, Lawanda doesn't cry. She's always happy and joyful. You know that. Anyway, it's your peanut butter brother, Dr. Al Greer. She had a birthday yesterday. She meaning Janet Jackson. Here's some leftovers from Foreplay. This is Where Are You Now on Bedtime Stories. Hmm. Well, you know that they're not going to get out anytime soon. You know, they are done. You know, and all of that because they wanted enough money to have a barbecue. So they robbed the wrong person. You know, if it had been some random person, you know, doesn't make it any better, but they robbed and killed a police officer. And for what? And for nothing. And they didn't get away with it. So they're done. They're pretty much done. I heard the guy who sang Purple Rain has a drug problem. Anyway, Simply Beautiful is a beautiful song. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Um, I'm at the gym. I cried once. I cried once. My balance was below $500. Woo, woo. I should be so lucky to cry, you know, if it's under $500. Oh man. How about mine is under $5 right now? So yeah, I get it. Good. They need to be done all over a damn barbecue. Yes. They were trying to get enough money to have a barbecue that weekend. Yep. So yeah, she lost her life over a botched robbery because they wanted to have a barbecue. Hmm. Mm. You know, I am. I'm pretty sure they're probably kicking themselves right now. Yep. I'm pretty sure that they are kicking themselves right now. Below $5, AG? Yes. Yep. The money that was sent to me last night went towards gas and lunch. Thanks to Gloria Simmons. Thank you, Gloria. That $25 was well spent. On top of that, I gave one of my coworkers some money as well. She wanted to get a drink from the convenience store, which is downstairs from the radio station. So I gave her some money. That's how I am. I'd already, had gas in the car, fixed a flat tire. Well, it wasn't flat yet, but it was, and that's it. I said, here you go. That's how I am. So I have no expectations of getting it back. It is what it is. So yeah. What you say, Luana? They're about to be barbecue. Well, I hope they run into Big Jerome and them, and Big Jerome and Day Day fry them. Well, yeah. And somebody said, they made a comment saying that, once they go to, because they're going to prison, somebody said that they would be heroes for killing a cop. And on the contrary, on the contrary, they will not be considered heroes. They will be considered idiots. For killing a cop who had just gotten off duty and taking their gun. They took the young lady's gun. Ooh, I didn't mean to play that. Here we go. So, yeah, they're pretty much done because they were pretty much dumb. They took the cops' service pistol. Yep. But they took the cop's gun. They took her gun. What did they think that was going to happen to them? So yeah, they pretty much screwed up big time. They they had to have known. They said she was still wearing her uniform pants. So unfortunately, it will be another story of a killing this week. Another female cop died last week. What do you say? Please don't accuse them of thinking. I know, right? Taking their future because they didn't want one. And once again, it's sad. It's really sad. And like I said, I sat there and I watched the funeral. I watched Pastor Otis Moss III, give the eulogy. I saw the young lady sing. I saw her family, her mother, her sister. I think that was her uncle. Just sad, holding each other up. Senseless violence. Senseless. All because they wanted to have a barbecue. She went to the school where I taught earlier. Well, once again, like I said, the only light of day they'll see will be in the yard, and that's it. Their freedom has been taken away from them because they gave away their freedom, and that's it. It's it's sad. It really is. You know, she was young, they're young. You know, this summer will bring more death and destruction. Hey, Dr. Greer, I just sent you a message. And I got your message. Thank you. But all because they wanted to have a barbecue. Come on, Janet. Roadburn from 97, right here. From Janet Jackson on Bedtime Stories. The show designed with the lovers in mind, where we put you to bed but never to sleep with the greatest love songs of all time. It's your peanut butter brother, Dr. Al Greer. And we were talking about the slain officer and how the people who robbed her were just looking for a good time. They wanted to have a barbecue. It's not funny. They stole her service piece revolver. Well, they used to be service revolvers. Now they're 12-shot automatics. And all they wanted to do was, yeah, have a barbecue. Now they're going to be barbecue. If they bring back the death sentence, there'll be barbecue. Anyway, I don't even want to talk about it because it's so depressing. How they took a life for nothing, for nothing. Senseless violence. We're supposed to uphold each other as a people. It is just awful. Anyway, here's Walter Jackson, Magic Man, on Bedtime Stories. Oh yeah, yeah. It really is, and it's like we didn't personally know her, but we all feel the pain of that family. After we heard about what she was doing and what she was going to do, you know, she was supposed to receive her degree, and her life was just cut short for nothing, for absolutely nothing. You know, one of the mothers are some of the mothers are tired and will turn their child in. I hear you. I hear you. Sometimes, you want to just say, hey, look, you know, anytime, and I said this last week. I said this last week. I said, look, if your child commits a crime, then you should be punished too. Because you didn't do your job as a parent raising this child. You know, Parents say all the time, I didn't raise no killer. Well, obviously you did. He may not be a killer, but he's an idiot. You know. For somebody who thinks that they're going to get away with a crime, I'm sorry, you watch too many gangster movies. You are not them. Trust me. You ain't the Sopranos. This is not Casino. This ain't Goodfellas. You ain't none of them. Okay? You ain't none of them. You you all are going down. You know. I think Coolio and DMX are due to go on tour together. Okay, thanks, Troy. Comic relief from Troy Anthony, ladies and gentlemen. You know, just sad, just sad. And like most of us, I couldn't continue watching it. First of all, it was just long and drawn out. You know, no fault of anyone's, but you know, it was just sad, just really sad. Miss Hill said it makes me sick how some mothers are enablers to their children's foolery, then cry and say, "My child is innocent." Me, hell no, he's not. And that's just it. That's the attitude that you know these parents should take. You know, of course you didn't raise a killer. Who raises a killer? But the thing was that they committed a crime on your watch, or what should have been your watch. As a parent, you should be held accountable as well. You should be held responsible for that child's actions, even though they weren't. They were still teenagers. They weren't like adults. So it's too late for heavy conversation. I'm depressed. I feel you, Preston. I really do. I feel you. Let's go back to talking about relationships and you know being quiet when your mate still wants to argue. That's depressing too. When you want to go to sleep and you're speaking of heavy conversation, let's talk about Bobby Brown. Ha ha ha. Heavy conversation. Funny, man. Funny. You're a funny man. You're funny. But back to relationships. Is when is enough enough? Like some people stay in relationships years, even after the relationship is over with. They try to make it work. You know, They try to silence is a powerful statement. Yes, it is. Um, a lot of people try to make it work by themselves. Black men, well, not all black men, but some of us have a hard enough time just being black men, and an even harder time expressing ourselves. You know, it's hard as a black man because women are pretty much, you know, they're emotional. We're not as emotional. We go in a closet somewhere, or we go in the man cave, or we go sit in the car and smoke a cigar or whatever, and that's how we deal with stuff. They deal with it by telling us, you know, I'm not happy in this relationship. We need to fix it. And what do we say as men? Ain't nothing wrong. Lakeside and say yes, right here on Bedtime Stories. The show designed with the lovers in mind, where we put you to bed but never to sleep with the greatest love songs of all time. Preston Shanks made a good question. What age should people stop dating? That is a good question. Um, I don't have an answer for that. I think that people should date until they can't date anymore. You have people, and I've read these stories before of how people were married for years and the mate dies, and then a few days later or a few weeks later or whatever, then that person dies after their mate dies because they've been together for so long that they can't live without each other. I've heard of that before, and it happens. One person dies and the other one dies within days or weeks. You know, my my grandmother, when my grandfather passed, she talked about my grandfather as if he were still here. You know, she talked about him and talked about him, and then finally she held on for several years, and after that, she went to be with her husband. I believe that they were together for so long that they couldn't live without each other. So to answer your question, just like marriage, till death do you part. Here's Harold Melvin in the Blue Notes. I should be your lover. My mother says I sound like a man when I say nothing's wrong. I don't talk, speak. I just go to the gym or sit by myself. My ex got mad at me a lot because I would never express myself. And here comes Troy. Madonna encourages women to express themselves. That's one reason why she's so much better than Whitney Houston. Another reason is that we were in the same school district. All right. Okay. Should anyone over 50 years old be on a dating app? Now that's another story. They have dating apps, and there was a there was a young lady that she was in one of my classes. She was one of my students, and she sent me a link to a dating app. I'm like, and the dating app was for people over 50. Now they have this on Facebook. I've seen it. And my thing is, if the dating app is for 50 plus, yes, because I believe there's somebody for everybody. I believe there's somebody for everybody. I don't know about the dating app. You know, I'm like, I was a little, excuse me, pardon me, a little skeptical about that. You know, I was like, dating app, okay. But I feel like, you know, it's like, yeah, really, you know, I mean, you know, I used to stay in a senior home, and you know, the older people would be booed up. No, that doesn't make any, you know, doesn't make any sense. But yeah, they'd be booed up. You know, there's my girlfriend. You know, girlfriend. Good. Yeah, my wife died years ago, so I said I would never get married again. So I'm getting my wife's pension. I got a girlfriend. Okay, there's someone for everyone. You know. Um, One of the guys that I made friends with in the senior home, he had a girlfriend. You know, he had to be at least 70 years old. He had a girlfriend. Not a tooth in his mouth, but he had a girlfriend. So it's just like like the commercial says, if you're healthy enough to have sex, you know, then go right ahead. You know, pop them blue pills. Go right ahead. But only if you're fit enough to have sex. Should you take Viagra? Same thing with the dating sites. Should you be fit to date? If not, sit your down somewhere. You know, watch some Gunsmoke, some Rifleman, some Paladin have Gun Will Travel, Big Valley, and Bonanza, and sit down. Watch them westerns. But that's about it. That's the only excitement you're gonna get, and that's it. So, because Al is 74 years old. Why were you in a senior home? Um, I was in a senior home because I couldn't find anywhere else to stay, and they started taking people at age 55, and at that time, I had just turned 50, 55, 56. So that's why I was in the Montclair. I was probably the youngest one in there. They started taking people at 55. So I moved in. I had a studio apartment, which was huge. It was a huge studio apartment. I had a love seat, I think, and I had a let out bed, and I had a closet, and that was it. On one side of the room, I had my little studio set up with my microphone and my laptop and everything else. So and rent was $500 a month. That's why I was in the senior home. After that, I moved out with a young lady. We moved to Park Forest. We split the rent until she lost her job. And that was it. So, Bobby Rush said it best, a bare mouth woman. Yeah. Troy said hookers aren't girlfriends. Yep. Ms. Hill said they should dissolve dating apps altogether. I believe in getting outside and meeting others. Okay, that's about right. And and that happens, yeah. It you know, and they used to say the best place to meet somebody is in church. I don't know about that these days. They say the best place to meet somebody is in church. I don't know how true that is. It sounds good though. It really does. In church. Okay. Unless you go to my church, where people are either married, too young, or first name is mother. Like Mother so and so, Mother Richardson, Mother Fanny, Mother. You know, I I love them. I love them dearly. I just can't see myself kicking it with Mother Fanny. I just I love her to death, but no, no, no. She cute and everything. That wig be sitting there. She be laying with that wig, boy. But I can't see myself. And then everybody else is married. The pastor's married. His nephew's married. You know, his nephew has a set of twins, and they married. Well, not the twins married, but what I'm saying. They're teenagers, so there's nobody in my church that I'm interested in. You know, I better not be interested in nobody who's married at my church, and that's it. Hey, Bree. So Miss Hill said, "Man, you would enjoy the mothers. They low key gets down." Hey, Bree, Mother Fanny got that pension and SSI. Yeah, she sure does. I know a few mothers of the church who go to the 50-yard line on Friday and Saturday nights. I'm I'm dead. No. Uh-uh. Nope. Unfortunately, no. I'm not going to kick it with Mother Fanny, and no. I'm just wouldn't be right. You know, it just wouldn't be right. I love you, old man. I love you too, sweetheart. I love you more. And I got to say this about my daughter. She was my biggest cheerleader when I first had to leave. I remember the morning that I was packing up. She came down to the basement with the baby. And she said, she looked at all the stuff that was on the couch, my clothes and everything else. She said, what's this? What's going on? What? Well, your mother said I can't stay. And since then, Brianna has been my biggest cheerleader for her mother and I to get back together. You know, I remember when her mother and I got married. Um, we got married first, and then we had the reception. And at the reception, Bree pulls me to the side. She said, "You know, I ain't like you at first." She kind of grew on me, and we both cried and snotted and everything else. You know, and that was it. You know, she said I grew on her. She grew to like me. She grew to trust me because she didn't trust nobody else. You know, so therefore, I gained my stripes as a dad. we You say, stop telling your business. I didn't like you. Harold Melvin and the Blue Notes ×2 and week for you. Right here on Bedtime Stories with your peanut butter brother, Dr. Al Greer. Hello to my daughter, Brianna. Thank you so much for being on my Facebook Live. I know she's on Tuesday nights. I think she's, or is it Tuesday or Wednesday night? She preaches on Facebook. And I couldn't be more proud of her because a few years ago, and I'm telling her business, and I don't care, she ain't gonna beat me up or nothing. But a few years ago, there was a calling on her life, and her pastor said, "There's a calling on your life, Brianna, that you should preach." And she's like, "No, no, 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 no." I'm like, "Okay." You know, my grandmother used to call me preacher when I was a kid. And somebody asked me recently when I was going to preach a sermon. I'm like, "Preach a sermon? No, I don't do that." Wednesday is prayer. Friday is fire starters, which is something that she started years ago when I started the radio station. She used to do a show on the station called Fire Starters, and that was every Friday. She would have, guests and everything else. And all I did was just sit back and, run the controls and everything else. And I wouldn't say a word. And I let her do her thing. Had a theme song and everything. So she was on for, I think, an hour. But, I do believe everybody has a calling and they should answer it. My calling was to be on the radio. My calling was to be a musician, a church musician of all things. So, I think we should all listen to that voice, that calling. And she did. And her mother calls her Pastor Cornbread. But, evangelist. So, follow your calling, answer your calling. Here's Bloodstone and Natural High on Bedtime Stories. Mm-mm. What'd you say? They closed the 50? Oh, no. You mean, in other words, I can't find any old ladies at the 50 now? Is that what you're saying? But she says coming back. Your spot has been held. So whenever you want it back, you go right ahead. Go right ahead. Whenever you want it, it's there. But sometimes you just have to follow your calling, whatever it might be. You know, I just knew mine wasn't in the ministry. It was at the ministry, but it wasn't in the ministry. So, yeah, they had a shooting there, and the city closed them. Oh, so they're good and closed this time. Okay. But I don't tell a lot of people this because they look at me funny. But I am licensed in the state of Illinois to perform weddings and funerals. Did you all know that about me? Yes, I can perform a funeral or I can marry you guys. I don't tell that to everybody. You know, I signed up for something online and that was it. You know, they send you this information on how to perform a wedding, on how to perform a funeral. It's like, oh, okay, it's just that simple. You don't have to go through what is it, divinity school or whatever they call it. They just they send you your certificate and you hang it on the wall, and you know you solicit yourself as a person who can perform weddings and funerals. And I hear there's good money in that. I have not performed a wedding in several years. I did two unions. This was before they made same-sex marriage legal. So I performed two unions. Of course, they weren't legal, but I performed two and DJ'd for one. So there you go. Believe it or not, yes. So Dr. Greer is Dr. Greer for real. So, uh, in other words, he just does funerals. But anyway, yep. So yes, I can perform funerals. If he wasn't married, I could get to him. I would ask you to marry me. And Matthew McConaughey. Online classes. Where can I sign up? I forgot. I have to look it up and I'll send it to you. But yeah, you can do online classes, and you don't have to be a minister, but they, you know, you are licensed to perform those services. How about that? You and Matthew McConaughey, I tell you. Not Matthew McConaughey. Speaking of which, Matthew McConaughey voices a cartoon. It's called Agent Elvis. Agent Elvis is what it's called. Yep. Do you have to submit your license to the courthouse in the state of Illinois? Yes. All of that. All that there. Yep. Be right back. I'm back. Ooh. He doesn't use deodorant. Why would you want to be married to a man who doesn't use deodorant? Matthew McConaughey does not use deodorant. Woo! What? I love that song. I was dating this girl and she heard that song. She said, when he said, just because you're the outside woman, don't feel bad. She's like, what kind of foolishness is that? I'm like, you never heard that song before? You know, she used to sing in church, so she didn't know anything about, you know, outside, side piece, you know, woman on the side stuff. She didn't know nothing about that. Anyway, it's Bedtime Stories, and we're sponsored by our good friends over at Grubhub. Mm, 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 mm. Grubhub is a proud sponsor of Bedtime Stories here on WOSD Radio DV Chicago, WDLB Indianapolis in Chicago, as well as WRLNradio.com, a Ray Neal media station, and Biggs Radio, and all of those. It's your peanut butter brother, Dr. Al Greer, and it is time for foreplay. This group is no stranger to foreplay, sure, in their own personal lives. Recently, I saw, this was a few months ago, I saw a movie based on one of them, you know, their lives. It was the Bobby DeBarge story. I'm like, really? Okay. And it was like some of the worst wigs that I've ever seen in my life. Even worse than some of the Tyler Perry movies. You know, they were some bad wigs, I tell you. But anyway, they hail from Grand Rapids and other places. At first, they recorded for Barry White. They were known as White Heat. That didn't work out too well for them. Then they came to the attention of Jermaine Jackson, whom they saw one time in an elevator, and they had one tape left. They said, if we give this tape to Jermaine Jackson and we don't make it, then we're done. We just have to, you know, find another studio, make another demo tape. They gave the excuse me, they gave the demo tape to Jermaine Jackson. And the next day, they were in the studio recording this album. Here's Switch in tonight's foreplay. Jim closed. All right. That's my only turnoff about him. He smells. Hmm. Yep, Switch. That be them. Sometimes, sometimes. You said, let us guess. Mm-mm. I'm sorry, I can't be with anyone who has a bad BO, body odor. I just can't. You know, I. Mm-mm. And my thing is, women should not smell. They shouldn't. Women should not stink. I don't care what anybody says. They can be working out at the gym for like 4 or 5 hours. They should come home, put some Vicky Secrets on. I don't mean some draws. I mean, the creams and oils and all that stuff, the lotions, yeah, and put on some right guard or some whatever, some secret, and then come to bed. Women should not smell. Women should not have a bad odor. That's just it. I'm sorry. I don't care. No, I just don't. So that's it. And yes, I'm fidgeting, but I'm sorry, but no woman. Mm-mm. And there's too much stuff that a woman can use to keep her from smelling. There's one store, Bath and Body Works. You go to Bath and Body Works, everything in there is for women. They got one section for men, one section. Everything else is, you know, blossom this and apple this and blueberry this and strawberry this. That stuff smells so good you want to drink it. You want to put it in a blender and make a smoothie. It smells so damn good, you know. So there's no excuse for a woman to smell. Women should always smell good. Always. I'm sorry. Not what you said, not over funk. Shower first. Yeah, definitely. Get in the shower and put on some Bath and Body Works. You know, I dated this one girl. She bought all of the Victoria's Secrets um, lotions that they had. She bought them all. I'm like, dang, you want to leave some for them? No, they got plenty of it. Their shipment comes in on Tuesday. I'm like, dang, you know? And she bought all of them, every single bottle of that stuff. And she smelled damn good in it. Yes, she did. So that's it. So Matthew McConaughey, you know, he don't use deodorant. Okay. You want to be married to him? Okay, you go right ahead. But once again, he's in this animated series called Agent Elvis, where he voices Elvis. Now, I know what some of you all are thinking. No, Victoria told it all. No secrets there. Elvis was a hero to most, but he never met. I know. I understand that. But if once you watch the animated series of Agent Elvis, you'll understand. You know, it's for entertainment purposes only because, first of all, Elvis is dead, has been. But in this animated series, he's a private eye. I'm like, okay, cool. You know, he's as cool as he wants to be. You know, and that's it. I like white diamonds and Beyonce perfume. I actually take a shower. I hope so. I cannot because too much of a natural smell. Okay. She said too much of a natural smell. Okay. But, once again, you know, I've always been a lover of full figured women. So they pretty much had to, you know, they had to be clean before I would, you know, you know, you know, you have to, you know, you know what I'm saying. Preston, help me. Help me. You have to go through those layers first to get to, you need you need a map to find the buried treasure. I'm just saying. Once you get to that buried treasure, boy, she's yours. If you know what to do, because I ain't gonna lie. I'm not gonna lie. You know, all I used to date was big girls. Both my wives were full figured women. And I will tell you no lie, I enjoyed every moment of it. You know, oh, every moment I'm like, whoa, now that's a woman right there. That's a woo man. You guys that like those little skinny women, it's like once you've unwrapped them, there's nothing left. You know, but a big girl, oh my God, there's nothing like it. There's nothing like it. I don't care. I've told my nephews, my cousins, it's like, look, because I had one cousin who he said, I'm looking for a woman who's petite, short haircut, and just small. I'm like, have I got the girl for you, cuz? They've been together ever since. But it's like I can't do nothing with her. I used to feel guilty. I'm like, oh, you're so little. Am I hurting you? No, you're not hurting me. I'm a grown woman. I'm like, okay. You know, got kicked out once by a little petite woman. I got kicked out of the house. Yeah, it's the story of my life. Got kicked out of the house. You know, because I kept saying, I'm like, dang, my daughter bigger than you. And she got tired of it after a while. After a while, it was like, you got to go. You got to go, buddy. And that was it. She put me out. You got to go. You got to go. Oh, by Zance. I don't know what that is. Thought that was Beyonce. Anyway, so I've always been a cheerleader, a male cheerleader for the big girls. You know, I'm telling you, fellas, if you've never been with a full-figured woman and you don't know what you're missing, when you all are done, she will get up and cook for you. I'm hungry. You want something to eat? Yeah. You know, I got a whole half a chicken left. Oh, okay. Like, oh my God. Well, yeah. I could go for that right now. Yeah. Anyway, you know, I'm telling you, there's nothing like it. You know, I don't care what you guys say. Y'all can say what you want. You know, a lot of my guy friends like full-figured women and nothing else. I'd like to hang out with them because you know I had one of my coworkers told me this morning. She said, "Have I got a girl for you?" I said, "Yeah, she fat like you like him." I'm like, "Fat? Wait a minute now. Hold on." But she's a pretty fat girl. Like, okay, Perry. Okay. She's a pretty fat girl. I'm like, okay. But my thing is, from, I guess, from the time I was young, all my aunts were full figured women and they would hug the crap out of me. I would be smothering in their bosoms. I'm like, that's the kind of woman I want when I grow up. I want I want a big bosomy woman like my Aunt Fanny. Crazy about my aunt, boy, I tell you. But, you know, some guys, they be on the down low. They don't want to, they say a fat girl is like a roller coaster. You like the ride, but you don't want to tell everybody about it. I'm like, please, this is my woman over here. Yep. Mm-hmm. Go on, girl. Roll on up and say hi to everybody. But if they're that big, I'm like, okay, I have to draw a line. Um, I do have a weight limit. So, but I've seen, there's this commercial, and I'm a little embarrassed to say there's this commercial with this very voluptuous white girl, and she's dancing, and you know, I'm like, dance, girl, yeah, and she's really pretty, and I forgot what it's for. It's selling some kind of, you know, some kind of some kind of medication, and she's doing this and she's doing the monkey, and I'm like, oh, girl, I would love to meet her. She's a cute, big white girl, and she's dancing, and she's just, and then at the end, they glam her up and stuff, and she's dancing and everything. I'm like, I love that commercial. I don't care what nobody says. Don't judge me. That big girl is, ooh, big vanilla girl. She could get it. I'm sorry. Wait a minute. Is my daughter gone yet? I don't want her to hear that. I thought you loved my mama. I do. I like big girls too. And I like big girls. I like big, 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 big girls. Ooh, wow. Thank you, Miss Hill. Anybody else? My Zelle is my phone number. Zelle Zell me some money. Zell me some money. Yeah. But yep, full figured or nothing. But yep, I will take a big girl any day. But that vanilla girl on that commercial, oh, I can't wait to see that commercial tonight. I'm sure I'm gonna see it. And she's dancing and stuff, and she's just, oh, I can see me behind her, like, are you done now? You through dancing? Mm, yeah, I know that's awful, isn't it? It's awful. Oh, you're so bad, Al. I'm sure she has a lot of fans from that commercial. She probably can't walk the street. Like, dance, girl, dance, big girl. Hey, I'm like, woo, yes. I know. I'm sorry, Phyllis. I'm trying to be nice, unnatural. Yeah, we like the big girls. Yes, we do. Oh, yes, we do. Yep. They and I gotta say this, and I'm gonna get off this subject. They make the best lovers because they make love to you like they not gonna do it again ever. They make love to you like they've never been made love to ever. I don't care what nobody says. They try to put them little fat legs around you like, I got you now. You ain't going nowhere. Oh, I waited for this. You know, you be like, wait. No, ain't no waiting. There is no waiting now. You are now mine officially. No, you my boyfriend. You ain't going nowhere. Mm-mm. I got you. I'm gonna feed you. Mm-mm. That's it. You are here to stay. You might as well just. Uh, Matter of fact, let me call U-Haul so you can get your stuff. You moving in with me? Oh, okay. They don't play that. They only like those skin women. Those weak, thick women do not stand a chance. Then you in the wrong place, honey. You walking on the wrong street or the wrong side of the street. Because there are a lot of men who appreciate a full-figured woman, and I am one of them. Hallelujah! I am one of them. I please. All my baby mamas were big. Okay, okay, all of them. All my children will buy a big baby mama. There's someone in the world, girl, girl, darling, oh, girl. Let's be somewhere I can share my world. Need you, you know I want you. There's gotta be someone to take my hurt away. And so, I love that song. I love that song. I don't care what nobody says. That song right there. Whoo! My favorite part is like towards the end. Wait a minute. Let me back it up about 30. Let's see, about 33 seconds right here. This is my favorite part right here. Wait a minute. There's gotta be someone to take my hurt away. Well, yeah, me too. There's gotta be someone to take my hurt away. Oh yeah, yeah. Oh yeah, yeah. Ooh yeah, yeah. It's gotta be someone to take my hurt away. It don't get no better than that. I'm like, they got three parts going at one time. It's girl, girl, calling all. It's gotta be someone to take my hurt away. Girl, girl, calling. Oh, and it's just, whoo, mm, mm. Hey, son, what's going on, man? What's going on? Gotta say hi to my son, Sincere. Anyway, that part right there, it just gets me every time. And they just go on and on. It was like it's like three backgrounds going on at once, and then Philip and Bobby trading leads. Y'all don't understand. Y'all don't understand. Ugh, one day y'all will get it. Wrapping up foreplay with Switch, and this from Minnie Ripperton. This is Memory Lane on Bedtime Stories. Photograph. It kind of made me laugh. Angie Martin Turner, what's going on, sis? Yo, sis. Mm. Mm. Beyond compare. Look at there. A look at there. Mm. Mm. Woo, boy. I had to turn on my fan, boy, talking about full figured women. Yep. Yep. Once again, to those guys who like, smaller women, God bless your ministry. You can have them. No, thank you. I will take the big girl for 500, Alex. Just saying. Stopping by to say hi. I'm going back to bed. Well, good night, sis. Enjoy your slumber. And thanks for the what was that jambalaya that you made that was left over with the big old shrimp in it? Oh boy. Mm. That was so good. It was so, in the words of Richard McGee, it was so good. Woo, man. I think I fell asleep with a shrimp tail in my mouth. Woke up, I had a shrimp tail get in my mouth. It was so good. You know, you need to make some more of that for your brother because I loved it. Somebody asked me, do I cook? I'm like, why should I? I got a sister who cooked. It's like I was. All I have to do is ask. Could you fix something? Had that puppy dog waiting. Could you fix me some food? I'm so hungry. You know, I'm so hungry. John Caldwell. I'm so hungry. Make my stomach growl on command. Ooh. I don't care what nobody says. It's like I I I will never cook again because of that girl, Cookie. That wasn't her real name, but I just gave her a name because they were trying to guess what her name was. It rhymes with Brandy, Dandy. Still got some left. I want some. I won't be able to get it till this weekend. So yeah, don't eat it. Don't eat it. Don't eat it. Back down memory lane. Leaving Saturday for the ATO. Oh man. Ooh, I gotta hurry up and get it then. Somehow. And tomorrow's Thursday. I go straight to the other job. So dang it. Mm-mm. Children, hold on. Be the light to show the way. Hold on to it. Anyway, back to that big girl on the commercial. Wait a minute, let me try to find that commercial on TV. I want to just watch it. Watch her with the sound down. I don't even know what the commercial's about. I know it's about some medication. She's just dancing like she's getting it, boy. I'm like, woo wee. She is so fine. Babas. Mm-mm. Be the light to show the way. Wait a minute, the fan is blocking the TV. How many TVs do you have, Al? 4. I have 4 TVs. One in one in every room. My sister even gave me a television. Yep. I'm going to say goodnight to Al. I need to finish preparing my once a week meal and get some rest for work tomorrow. Well, all right. Well, all right. Well, thank you for spending a little time with us, Miss Hill. So appreciate it. I'm sure waiting for my big girl commercial to come on. I'm gonna be like, quick, turn the channel now. They're about to show the commercial. Mm-mm. Women are always talking about their weight. You never hear a man talking about, man, I gained 15 pounds. I need to get rid of this weight. We never say that. We're like, I'm sorry. Accept me as I am. Yeah, I need to lose some weight. There it is. Oh, Jardinets. Channel 9, y'all. Dance girl. Oh, go, girl. Yeah. On command, too. She's wearing a blue top. She got on blue. Look at old girl. Woo! Jardinets. That's the commercial. They're like, hi, hey. Yeah, I'm big. Look at me. Yeah. That commercial came on demand, boy. Jardinets. Go, girl. Woo! Don't hate me. Don't hate me. So this morning on the way to work, I had a whole conversation about this song that I just played. The Shawlights featuring Marshall Thompson and Hold On to Your Dreams. He said it's number one on Spotify. I'm like, number one on Spotify? Now, this song came out a few years ago. He's mixed it and remixed it and everything else. He sent me like three different versions of it. One is a radio version, the other has the whole intro where they're introducing him. Um, but, this song is timeless. It came out back in, I want to say 78, 79, when I was coming out of high school. And that was everybody's song that year. Hold On to Your Dreams, originally done by Ouija, who was a former member of the Dramatics. And it, Uncle Marshall used to do parts of the song in concert. And I told his then wife, Connie, I said he should just record the whole damn song. Stop doing, little pieces of it. Stop playing, do the whole song. And he did. And he released it a few years ago. It didn't do anything. He re-released it now. Now it's got legs. Hold On to Your Dreams by Marshall and the Shawlights right here on Bedtime Stories. It's your peanut butter brother, Dr. Al Greer. We got a few more minutes and a few more songs here on Bedtime Stories. Here's another one from Angela Bofill. Jardinense is the name of the commercial. With the big girl dance, she's getting it too. I'm like, woo! Hey, Phyllis. Y'all was talking about the commercial with the big white girl in it, and she got the blue top on, the blue jeans, and it's for Jardinense, whatever that is, some kind of medication, I guess. And she's just getting it. I'm like, woo! Can I get your phone number? I know that's sad. I know. Hey, Phyllis. Phyllis, meet Phyllis. Phyllis Hooper, Phyllis Bender. Why are all the Phyllises married? Why can't I find a Phyllis? You know, one of my aunts is named Phyllis, and Aunt Phyllis is she was the disciplinarian in the family. You know, not the husband, but she was. You know, she could be on the phone stirring the pot and whooping a child all at once. I'm like, all right. You go, Auntie. Good night. Have a wonderful day. Thank you. Hey, Phyllis, meet Phyllis. Phyllis. Why can't I find a Phyllis? Oh, well. Phyllis Hooper, Phyllis Malloy Bender. Y'all got to find me a Phyllis. I want a Phyllis. I want a Phyllis of my own. I want my own Phyllis. Mm-hmm. See, that's why I can't get a date for breakfast, you know. I had this one lady, she just flat out turned me down for breakfast on Saturday. I'm like, really? So what did I do? You know, like any man, any other man would do. I unfriended her on Facebook. Was that wrong? I'm like, okay. Ooh, a young LeVar Burton on Hooper. I mean Becker, rather. Mm-mm. So y'all got to find me a Phyllis. She got to be a full figure Phyllis. A full figure Phyllis, if you don't mind. Thank you. Mm-mm. Bing, 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 bing. Where did John Caldwell go? John, don't leave me by myself. Y'all can't leave me. You and yeah, the other guy. What happened to Preston? Yeah, Preston. Where'd you go? Where'd he go? You know, too late. Barry White probably spent every day of his life wishing he was as good as Robert Palmer. I don't think so. I don't think so. Mm, 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 mm. Oh, there he is. All right, Preston. I know you heard me ranting about the big girl in the commercial, right? Jardinets. I won't forget that now, will I? Jardinets. Turns you on. Well, you heard me talking about her, huh? And you chose to ignore me because you know I'm a little touched. So yeah. Turns you on. Ooh, I got 15 minutes. Use my time wisely. Yes. Still Bill Withers and something that turns you on. Right here on Bedtime Stories. At first, still Bill Withers didn't want to get into show business. He liked doing his songs and everything else, but he thought the business was a little fickle. So therefore, he kept his day job. He worked at an airplane hangar. So he kept his job. Even after the first album, Ain't No Sunshine. It's like, no, I'm not ready yet. So he kept his job, even though he went on to become a megastar. He kept his day job. Smart man. Smart man. It's your peanut butter brother, Dr. Al Greer, with Bette Midler. Do you want to dance? Well, come on, baby. Meet me in the middle of the floor. Got the moon now. Mm-mm. Do you? Do you want to dance? Do you? Do you? Do you? Do you want to dance with me, baby? Do you wanna dance under the moonlight? Good night. Oh, baby, 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 baby. Dance. Do you? Do you? Do you want to dance? Want to dance with me, baby?
The original peanut butter brother. That's what we call him. Al Greer and Bedtime Stories on WOSTRadio.com.
Beware. Thank you, Luana. Thank you. Okay, turn it up, Al. Turn it up so Facebook can cut you off. Of course, everybody loves Smokey. Every black, every black woman loves Smokey. Beware.
Following his hospitalization last month after a medical emergency, the Oscar winner is now reportedly recovering at a physical rehabilitation center. Our Steve Osasami is here in studio with us with the latest. Good morning, Steve. Good to see you all in person. Here's proof how fast and far rumors can fly. For the last few weeks, most of the internet was believing that Jamie Foxx wasn't long for this world, and this morning, its people are announcing he has a new project. Oscar-winning actor Jamie Foxx is very much alive this morning and getting help at a physical rehab facility in Chicago after a great deal of worry over his health. Details of his health condition remain private and are only being described as a serious medical issue. But TMZ Online says that his family was seen visiting the actor at the physical rehab center in Chicago this weekend. He started getting treated there at the end of April after he was hospitalized in Atlanta. It's one of the country's top physical rehab centers and specializes in treating patients with stroke and brain injuries. After widespread concern that her father was still in serious condition, Fox's daughter, Corinne Fox, went on social media last weekend to share that her father has actually been out of the hospital for weeks recuperating and was even out playing pickleball. The concern over the famous actor's health began early last month when his daughter shared that her father had experienced a medical complication and was on his way to recovery. Fox was in Atlanta filming with co-star Cameron Diaz. Production had to pause because of the actor's condition. I knew you were in trouble from the start. But even as he gets back to good health,
We will. Ladies love Smokey. What can I tell you? Ladies love Smokey. I don't care how old Smokey gets. Ladies love Smokey. No matter how much plastic surgery he has, he got a new set of teeth. I mean, everything. Ladies love Smokey. He wasn't bad looking before, all that surgery. He claims, of course, well, that's just it. He doesn't claim to have not had any surgery. That's Lionel Richie. I'm just saying, Smokey don't look. He just doesn't look. Well, anyway. Well, nobody looks like they did back in the 70s and 80s. So that's it. Preston wanted to hear this one. Here's Daylight and Darkness from Smokey. And everybody thought that Smokey was singing in a falsetto. No, that was Eddie singing in falsetto. Smokey just had a natural high-pitched voice. At the same time, how can you? Daylight and darkness. At the same time. Ice cold. Hard to handle. You're putting it through. I was so shocked that my daughter is a super fan of Smokey. He's cool, but I never highlighted his CDs when playing songs. Well, do 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 do. Do 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 do. Daylight. Time. That's it. That's it. I quit. Doesn't get any better than that. I'm not a big Smokey fan. I know. I know, ladies. I'm sorry. I'm a big Temptations fan. But I got to say this about Smokey. He's probably one of the greatest poets in our lifetime. He's wrote some of the most beautiful songs ever. Ooh, Baby, Baby, More Love, Who's Gonna Take the Blame? Did he write that or did Ashford and Simpson write that? Well, anyway, he's written some of the most beautiful songs ever. And I just got to give it to him. Smokey Robinson, Daylight and Darkness. That's going to do it for your peanut butter brother, Dr. Al Greer. This is my Friday, so enjoy the best of bedtime stories on Thursday night. All right. But once again, thank you so much for joining us to the Phyllis. Phyllis Malloy Bender and the other Phyllis. Yes, I can't. Phyllis Hooper. I'm sorry. Phyllis Preston, Lawana. Who did I forget? Um, John Caldwell, Miss Hill, my sister from another Mister, Angie Martin Turner, my son Sincere, everybody. Thank you so much. I really appreciate you guys. You all make my night, and I hope I make your night as well. Till next time, blue skies, green lights, and peace. Good night, Miss Delicious. And the lady in the Jardinets commercial. Ooh, yeah. Big, thick white girl. Yeah. Yummy. All righty then. Nighty night, guys. I appreciate you all. Once again, thank you so much. And don't forget about the Jardinets commercial with the big white girl. And of course, Tits McGee, who's on vacation. Tears of what is it? Tears of a clown. There's a tear in my beer. Every little teardrop and all the rest. Thank you. And good night, Nikki. My she hates to be called baby mama, so I'm my daughter's mother, who is also full figured. Thank you very much and good night. Kiss my baby for me.